So I usually strive not to repeat content and try to give new content when I can, but inevitably you're going to fail and repeat yourself a little bit. So this may overlap with another video I will put out, but some people in the comment section, aside from just being dumb, saying ignorant things, pretty vile racist things, because, that's the fan base of heel versus babyface, are making this ridiculous claim that, well, you're stirring up drama because Mr. AZ here and Ethan are friends. They are clearly not friends.
Right now because of them. You're giving them exactly what they want. That's the amount of emotion they're looking for from you.
I don't care what.
And you do care because you're doing this. Jesus.
In all the different independent campaigns that have come out. Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna people say they like it when I'm just completely honest. I'll be completely honest. We all know I can't fucking stand EvS. He's a prick. He's a snake. He's a scumbag. But I'd never tell anyone here not to buy his book. I'd never say that. I'll leave that in your hands.
Well, let's suppose they are friends. Okay, if they were friends, why would heel versus babyface call him a snake? Saying I hate this guy, saying I don't trust this guy, etc., etc. It seems pretty clear on the record, heel versus babyface does not like Ethan. Maybe at one time they were friends, going from Ethan's stream, so I want to be fair, maybe heel did explain in the stream, but Ethan went through a lot of the stream. He went through hours of it. Heel versus babyface never articulated exactly what Ethan did. According to Ethan, it was due to him calling them out for being cowards.
Been holding a grudge against me for quite a long time, ever since I called them zeros because of the Zack Snyder thing. So what happened was, in case you missed this, Zack Snyder, during the HBO, Justice League relaunch thing that they were doing, was hosting a charity for suicide prevention because his daughter committed suicide. It was a cause that he felt was near and dear to his heart. And somehow a football player that was a part of Geeks and Gamers was invited to be a part of the charity. And because he was associated with Geeks and Gamers kind of shoehorned their way into the charity. Zack Snyder's people said, we don't want that. We don't want to be associated with Geeks and Gamers. But Geeks and Gamers did anyway. What they figured they would do was just get a whole lot of charity money donations for the for that cause. And you guys, many of you here who are watching, you turned out in droves. Like you guys raised $100,000 for that charity. You didn't know that you weren't wanted there. You didn't know that you weren't invited to be there. You didn't know that he was specifically told not to associate you or Geeks and Gamers because they hate you.
So what happened is Ethan wanted them to be much more, I guess, confrontational. Now, I'm pro Zack Snyder. I don't think Zack did anything wrong. The whole thing was explained very thoroughly. I've already done a couple videos on this. I guess I'll have to do a few more. So there's kind of this weird legend that Zack essentially attacked Geeks and Gamers when he put out his statement. He divorced himself from the Geeks and Gamers team, and since then people have made this weird myth that he called them a hate group. But no, he didn't do that. He just said, we're not officially linked to you guys. That's about it. So to Ethan, Zack was being disrespectful. Nerdrotics and Geeks and Gamers basically allowing Zack to speak the way he did, showed they were cowards, and that upset him. And apparently privately they agreed with him, but publicly they supported the Snyder Cut to appear popular. They didn't want to go against the Snyder Cut. It was just too popular. So that's the real reason their, quote, friendship broke up.
When we say, like, without respect, we reject. When we say, don't give money to people who hate you, unfortunately, it applies to this, too. I think you guys could have done your own charity. You didn't need to do it as a piggyback onto a place where you weren't wanted by somebody who didn't like you. And you didn't know that. Like, the fans didn't know that. So Zack Snyder shows up, and he was shocked to see that he was in the company of Geeks and Gamers. And, he just took an opportunity to say, I told you guys I didn't want you here. And essentially called Geeks and Gamers and the fans who had just given him $100,000 a hate group. And I just blew up at him. I just absolutely blew up. I went on my own stream and just blew up. The fuck? And they just stood there and took it. Like, it was just, they just wanted to be around Zack Snyder. It made me really, really angry that, you know, it's like at that point you had an opportunity to say to Zack Snyder, even though you admire him, he's calling out your audience. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not a moment that you let slip by. This is a moment where you say, listen, you're somebody who was just canceled by Hollywood. We're people who also feel like we've been displaced. We're people who feel like we've been shunted and pushed aside by the creative medium that we love. We're spit on every day. And we thought we found in you somebody who understood that because of your own circumstances and would respect this audience. And so we got $100,000 together from kids who watch YouTube.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know heel versus babyface, and I don't really want to know him. But again, despite what people are thinking, I'm trying to like destroy him or whatever. Don't get me wrong. I'd love for him to be deplatformed, but he has a much bigger platform than myself. So I don't know. I think it's the other way around, that people from his platform keep coming to my platform and attacking me on false grounds and spreading a lot of lies and propaganda. But it is what it is. So if he can articulate what happened, fine. But until then, Ethan has his story, and apparently he has receipts. He has actual private DMs where, yeah, they agreed with him. They agreed with him about Zack Snyder, but they've been pretending that they were above it all and that they, quote, support the Snyder Cut movement, whereas, in fact, they never did. They don't care about the Zack Snyder Cut movement. They only care about themselves. But Ethan wanted them to be much more public about that, but they weren't, and that's the reason that they broke up.
They all opened their piggy banks. I would say kids. I'd just make it, I know you guys are adults. Opened their piggy banks and came up with $100,000 for your charity because they wanted to tell you that they feel like you understand them. And you come in here and you piss all over them and you call them a hate group and you tell them that you don't want their money and they're not included and they're not a part of this.